I'm Becky, and today we're going to paint 3 magical backgrounds. In each one I've put a simple shape, but these backgrounds can be used for complex and beautiful paintings. The first one is a velvety dark background, and whatever is in your foreground pops front. Now if you want to have some lighter colors in it, you should put them on first. And I'm using this Steve Quiller flat brush. This is a very soft brush. I don't have my paint mixed up as much as I'd like. And you just go right over. And then I'm also going to put some magenta in there. But mostly it's going to be much darker than this. Now I'm getting indigo because I just think indigo makes beautiful velvety backgrounds. And that's going to go on thick, but I'm lifting. Not much of that color is going to show through. I could make more show through, and it's actually a little easier to do that on a bigger paper. This brush is the best one for the job, but it does overpower this little paper. Just make it totally smooth, and when it's dry, we'll pull off the tape, and the star will pop forward. Our star is dry. Oh, my tape leaked. That still looks kind of cool though. It just looks like a Halloween star instead of a star. The kind of paintings that you can do it around really complex paintings. The next one, it's not as much of a drama queen, but it's very pretty. So for that, I'm going to use this Da Vinci Casaneo. But if I was doing a big painting, I would use Princeton Neptune number 8. They're very similar, except in size. And I'm going to take some of the colors in the background, but I want some other colors too. And you just make it variegated. You need a soft brush for this. Well, you don't need a soft brush, but it's sure easier. And I don't want a whole blue painting, so I'm going to go in there with some very contrasting colors. Now I know this is looking very see-through and I have sharp edges forming, but I always give this at least 2 layers, sometimes 3, before this variegated look is to my satisfaction. One of my favorite colors to add is the gamboge yellow, which is a very striking color. Now to finish this off, I'm going to go over the whole thing with this gamboge. And it'll give it some continuity, and I actually often do this with gamboge. I go over the whole thing, or at least half of it. And it ties it all together, gives it a glow. I recommend practicing on a piece of paper like this. Just get a little piece of paper and tape it up, put something on it, and go. And then we'll do this, take this tape off of this. Now whenever you go around something, whether it's with a variegated background or the dark background's less likely to, but the bouquet, you often will need to soften your main subject along its edges because it dries in a sharp line. And so then I do that. That's too thick of a brush. Yeah, just paint around it. You might want to have a tissue. Paint around it, keep a tissue in your hand, and just soften all those edges in it. It makes it look like it's not a cutout in front of a design, but like it was there on purpose. I use this a lot with people and also with all kinds of stuff. And here are some examples of the kinds of things that I paint using a variegated background. So the bouquet background is a very charming background, and it's one of my favorite things to paint. You'll need a stencil brush, and there are other things besides a stencil brush. I do have another video that shows a whole bunch of ways to make bouquet, and I'm actually planning to make another one with some new things that I've discovered. But for today, we're going to stick with the simple. Now you can start putting your bouquet on by just having a background that's variegated. So, you know, this is a Christmas theme, so I'm gonna put some different colors in different places. I'm even gonna put some red out there. Now, one way you can make bouquets just by smudging these. You have to be careful. My paper's still a little bit, my paint green is still wet. And so I'm not going to do too many of those because I don't want to dry my paper first, but I'll do a couple. And I'll just smudge the edges. And that has become, those two have become very nice bouquets. But it's easier to do with this. Okay, my paper's dry, and the first ones I'm going to do are the ones that I already have color for. Dip my brush in the water, push it into the sponge so it's not drippy, and just go around like this. And that'll get rid of those sharp edges. You need to have a tissue handy for that and for this. And let's get some more of these done. And then you need some different sizes. If you have all one size, it loses a lot of its charm. Then it just sort of looks like polka dots. You have to keep wiping your stencil, dabbing up your paper. See how that made a very nice pale green. Now right here, I'm going to put one in front and make this yellow paler and probably leave the background darker. Oops, my green really ran there. You can also do it without the stencil if you prefer, but I mostly don't. I like it when I can get 3 at once. So we're going to do a big one down here, dip, rinse, a little one over here, and a medium one over here. Wipe, dab. Now we also want some to be overlapping. If you don't overlap them, it also will lose part of its charm. And last but not least is this Christmas ball. I've actually used it on many of my backgrounds that have leaves in the background, and I just needs a little something, but I don't want to paint a whole bunch more detail that makes it busy, and so then I use bouquet. So often people do a beautiful painting and then they ruin it with their background. And so hopefully this will help you in the future to have great success with your backgrounds.